Grayson, Indiana, was the kind of town where everyone still knew your name, where high school football games made front-page news and the annual Corn Festival was a sacred tradition. But beneath its Norman Rockwell charm, something sinister had begun to fester. It had been exactly 1 year since Lila Hart, a bright 16-year-old cheerleader, vanished after leaving a friend's bonfire. No witnesses, no evidence, just an empty stretch of County Road 17 and the silence that had followed. Grayson never recovered. Then came the body. Reverend Charles Milton, beloved pastor of First Grace Baptist, was found seated at his pulpit at dawn, his lifeless body grotesquely contorted. His hands were folded as if in prayer, and stuffed between them was a newspaper dated exactly 1 year earlier, the day Lila disappeared. But it wasn't just the staging that chilled local law enforcement. It was the message burned into the church's hymn board in jagged letters. One nation under fraud. FBI profiler Elise Monroe arrived from Quantico in a gray coat, eyes hidden behind dark lenses, and a silence that followed her like a shadow. She had built her reputation solving a string of coastal murders known as the Mirror Killings. But those close to her knew something had broken inside her years ago. A case gone wrong. A sister lost. Grayson's sheriff didn't trust her. She didn't mind. Trust was how people died. At the crime scene, Elise's gaze froze on the newspaper. The crossword puzzle had been filled in, incorrectly, but deliberately. 12 down, where truth rests. The answer scrawled, grave. 6 days later, a second murder rocked Grayson. Principal Dana Keating, a staunch defender of school reform and local education, was found in the high school auditorium. Dressed in a vintage graduation robe, her body slumped in the front row, clinging to another year-old newspaper. Again, a cryptic message. We hold these truths until they rot. Elise stayed up all night cross-referencing cold case files. A pattern emerged. Each murder fell on the exact anniversary of an unsolved disappearance, some dating back 20 years. Every victim was a symbol of a system Americans are taught to trust: faith, education, law, press. The killer wasn't just making a statement. They were rewriting an American mythos, one murder at a time. Then came the letters, each delivered in unmarked envelopes, typed on a Remington quietwriter, and signed with the initials RJ. Inside were eerie combinations of twisted nursery rhymes, obscure lines from the Federalist Papers, and snippets of American folklore. The butcher, the baker, the liberty faker. A free press dies in silent ink. Where the bell once rang, only bones remain. One phrase repeated like a signature. The silent republic will rise. Elise found herself haunted by more than just a case. Her own sister, Tara, had disappeared on her way home from college 15 years ago. The case was never solved. But now, as Elise lined up the old disappearances with the new killings, Tara's date matched one of them, May 3rd, 2010. The same day a local journalist, Sam Radley, had vanished without a trace. She realized the killer wasn't choosing victims at random. They were selecting mirrored pairs, a person of power and a forgotten soul from the same day. The message was clear. If the powerful are mourned, why are the forgotten erased? In a shocking twist, Elise discovered that Grayson's longtime mayor, Kayla Brinson, had buried dozens of reports over the years, reports that connected the victims to a long-suspected local trafficking ring. Reverend Milton had counseled some of the survivors. Principal Keating had tried to reopen school records. Each had gotten too close to the truth. The FBI had missed it. Elise had missed it. The killer hadn't. On the anniversary of Lila Hart's disappearance, Elise followed a lead to the now-abandoned printing press once owned by Sam Radley, the missing journalist. There, she found walls covered in timelines, red string connecting newspaper clippings, and photographs of every murder scene. And then, in the flickering light, she met RJ, not a man but a woman. Riley Jane Radley, Sam's younger sister. She had spent years tracking the silent corruption of the town. Every system that was supposed to protect the innocent had failed repeatedly. Riley had become judge, jury, and executioner, killing symbolically to force the world to confront the rot behind the institutions they trusted. Riley handed Elise a file, one last target. Kayla Brinson, the mayor, the man who had allowed the disappearances, profited off silence and played the grieving public figure. "You could arrest him," Riley said, "but he'll walk. He always does." Elise, shaken to her core, looked at the man sleeping in the room next door, unaware of how close justice or vengeance had come. Elise didn't pull the trigger. She made a call. Brinson was arrested under federal corruption charges tied to missing persons reports, falsified records, and obstruction of justice. The case exploded in national headlines. Riley disappeared. No trace, no prints. Just a final note left for Elise. Not all revolutions begin with fire. Some begin with silence. RJ. Elise now teaches at Quantico. She tells her students that monsters don't always wear masks, and heroes don't always follow the law. Grayson still holds its corn festival. But now, there's a memorial downtown, not just for the murdered, but for the forgotten. Every year, someone anonymously leaves a single folded newspaper there, dated exactly 365 days earlier.